Welcome to another edition of After the Whistle. It's almost Halloween, apparently. Next week's Halloween. The next thing you know, it's November and Thanksgiving. Weeks and months are flying by fast.
Are we filming Halloween episode?
I guess. I mean, we'll be here.
All right. I wasn't sure,
We'll be here. Halloween's on the weekend, so.
Oh, okay.
You know who was Halloween? You know what Halloween came early for? Dallas Cowboys. That was one dreadful performance that they put together on Monday night, and it was, and coming into this game, people were talking about Andy Dalton won't be so bad. They'll be fine with Andy Dalton, but man, granted, Andy Dalton don't play defense, but yeah,
I think everyone in America thought Dallas could stay somewhat afloat. Especially in that division, but playing against the Cardinals, you didn't think he was going to smack like that. But, Murray's nice. He's improving. Granted, he had the best game, but he has so many other weapons. For one, I didn't know his receiving core was that. I knew, old reliable Fitzgerald, Hopkins, and then they got this guy, Kirk. Who's out there getting
the
busy.
Speedster, I think that's one of his favorite targets because he likes to go deep. And speaking of Murray, this dude's been... we gotta give a lot of credit to their coach too, because I know we got on him for that hire because we was just like, what, dude. But I mean, these 2 years since he's been coaching, they've been doing a really good. He's been doing a good job, and Kyler Murray, granted he only completed 9 passes in this game, but but he's been playing so well since his rookie season.
And he's fast. He just has all the tools. Too bad he's not a little taller. But that's probably why he has so many more tools because of his size. But let's talk about Dallas for a little bit, man. For one, if you're going to have a vet as your quarterback who wasn't that good as a starter, you can't have the man throwing the ball 54 times. That's just disrespectful to your running back because Zeke is running the ball 12 times. Come on, man.
Zeke can't be fumbling the ball either.
For one, 4 turnovers ain't going to win you anything.
Yeah, for real. 4 turnovers, then back-to-back fumbles. That's just a recipe for disasters. And they ran 84 offensive plays.
Yeah, I was gonna say that to Arizona's 60. That's usually a formula. When you see that, it's they must have won by a touchdown or two. But when you fumble the ball 4 times and you have, it's just the formula's awful. And I watched the game with Joe. He said honestly, Andy looks like he did not plan on playing at all this year. That's how he's looking.
It might be so, and also the Dallas defense, they are god awful. They can't stop the run. They can't stop anybody from passing. They can't get to the quarterback. They paid so many guys on the defensive side. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence, they paid him money. I think Jalen Smith, they paid him money. They paid some guys in that front 7 some money to do stuff that they're not doing right now.
I mean, they're just useful as Dak is right now. They didn't even pay Dak. So.
And then you got a mutiny happening right now. Got players talking about they're not criticizing the coach and what the coach is doing. But at the end of the day, I mean, the coach could give you the game plan. It's not the coach's fault that you're fumbling the ball.
One thing me and Ant talked about this, Ant Anderson. He talked about in professional sports. Granted, I don't want to say it varies. But the coaches barely do much when it comes to getting a victory in the game. It's all about the product you put out there and how they produce. Granted, football is more tool because you're game planning compared to basketball. Yeah. But your players still got to produce. Yeah. And that's really all it comes down to. Your coaches aren't going to win you anything, especially in professional sports. Maybe high school, college, professional sports, your coaches don't win you anything.
Yeah, and especially in football when you're just doing all this. I don't know. I don't even know what the identity of the Cowboys is. I don't know what they want to be. If they want to be a passing team, they want to be a rushing team. They have no idea what they were doing, and that's just. I mean that whole performance was just bad. It was just bad.
Yeah. You gotta give Dalton a chance by having him throw less and putting the ball in Zeke's hands. You have to.
And I think the problem is sometimes when teams get down, they think they have to stop passing the ball. They have to stop passing more. But I think they just lost confidence in Zeke. They just lost confidence in that whole offense by their game plan.
They probably just panicked. They will do more this season just because you think when you get down big you have to throw all these bombs and all this when you realize it's all about keeping defense on their toes.
Definitely. It's
all about keeping them on their toes and catching them off guard.
Yeah, definitely. And then one last thing about Murray is 74 yards on 10 carries. So far this season he's got 2 games where he's rushed for over 70 yards and then he has got another game where he's ran for 90 yards. So And then his run to pass average are pretty much the same, 7 yards per pass and 7 yards per rush. So, he's getting into a lot of like short yardage situations with his playmaking. And the Cardinals right now, I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs because their division is so tough, but they got a shot at it. They're making a good run at it. So kudos to Arizona. And another note, Kyler Murray is undefeated at Jerry World in his life. He's never lost there in high school, college.
I feel like he's from out there too.
He's like the best college. He's like the best football quarterback coming. He's like the best quarterback in Texas history.
Like stat wise.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Another game that, well, it didn't live up to the hype. The Chiefs and the Bills, and the Chiefs just ran all over the Bills. They just what they call in basketball bully ball. That's what they did to the Chiefs. They're to the Bills.
Once again, I won't stress this enough. There's only a few quarterbacks that are legit dual threats, and I don't think Allen's one of them. Granted, he could do both things, but there's no reason why he should be a leading rusher.
He's so. This is me with him. He's so like when he makes good passes, they're really good passes. But too many times he just makes some bad passes, inaccurate passes. He's really an inaccurate quarterback. He's always completing under like 60 or 50 something percent, like in that 55-60 range. So his completion percentage is not good. Granted, he got Stephon Diggs this year, but he's just like his decision making isn't all that great. Like,
I don't really know what to say about this because they were playing well. What is it, 2-game skid now?
Yeah, 2 games.
2-game skid. For one, you have to stick to the formula. Kansas City, it's definitely found their formula. They're rushing the ball 46 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Over 5 yards per carry. But Buffalo, man, there's no reason why you're only rushing the ball 23 times. You have to. You need another player in there running the ball.
You need to do. They need to figure out They need to figure out how to cut down these like. Some of the throws Josh Allen missed, it was like easy throws that he could have made. It could have advanced the drives. It's just like he misses too many easy throws that should be completions, so like a first down or gain yardage close to a first down. Even Troy Aikman in the booth was trying not to say some of them things were bad, but he was trying his best to say something positive about the way he was playing. But he was not. It wasn't his best. It's just the same guy that we saw last year and the same guy that came out of college. It's just, sporadic. But the Chiefs, Mahomes, you talk about a dual threat. For a guy who ran 4.8, he sure does make a lot of people miss and makes a lot of plays with his feet as well as with his arm.
He ran a 4.8?
Yeah.
He's really that slow? Or was he just having a bad day at the combine? When I see him, he doesn't look that slow.
Some people, they'll run slow. They'll run those 40 slow, but they're, during the game, it's like they got their game speed is a whole lot different. And plus, he plays shortstop. He plays shortstop. So
what's that got to do with your 40? I don't really
No, that's like the athleticism.
Oh, okay.
Like you got to be athletic to play shortstop. So
yeah, I thought it'd be faster. That's all. Isn't Brady like a 4.8?
Yeah.
He way faster.
Like he's like a 5'2". Gato, what's up, Mukala?
Hello, how you doing?
No, what's up, Mukala? Yeah, so my camera trying to get in the shot. So Mahomes, now you look at this running game and then they added Le'Veon Bell, who's gonna be.
Oh, they signed Bell.
They signed Bell, who's gonna be. Ooh. He didn't play this game, but he's playing the next game.
I thought Pittsburgh was gonna re-sign him.
There was a few teams that were thinking the Bills. The Bills had a shot at.
The Bills was probably definitely could have used him.
They definitely could have, but now you're seeing this offense. It's like you got this rookie running back. Now you're adding Le'Veon Bell, who's a threat in the run and in the passing game, and then all those receivers. So it's like, good luck.
Yo, how long has the Chiefs owner or GM been there?
That I think he came the same time as Andy Reid, but the owner, it's like a family.
Because that whole the whole makeup of their organization's like stellar.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like their season opportunities, they're grabbing guys who want to say past all pro players, and it's like, how is this team Super Bowl champ still getting these type of plays when everybody else is missing out? There's no reason why the Bills shouldn't be able to pick him up.
Yeah, So the rich get richer. They just. This is a lot easier for Mahomes too. It makes life a lot easier for him because he don't have to drop back all those times either. And if he does, he could just throw a little screen. So, good luck. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. The Patriots,
They just look bad, man.
Yeah, somebody said it. They look like a team that hasn't practiced in a week. Then
Cam ain't practicing like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, right? So he looked like it. Like, or was it 3?
2.
It was 2.
It was 2. It was 2. They just looked. Yeah, they looked terrible offensively. Defensively, they were all right, but they still had some breakdowns here. But offensively, man, it was rough. It was rough out there offensively.
I mean, you're not winning anything with 3 turnovers
at all.
Especially 2 intos coming from your quarterback.
Yeah.
And then
the first one was just like, wow.
Who had the second highest carries other than Cam? Once again, they're starting to do that whole thing with Carolina was doing. You got to fall back from that a little bit.
But the problem with the Patriots offense is these receivers aren't getting open. This is like remember last year when people kept saying, oh, Brady was playing bad and people were just making, like, folks were making excuses for him because we all kept saying the receivers aren't getting open. And it's the same thing now this year. These receivers aren't getting open. N'Keal Harry, he had, like, no catches. I think Cam was the 4th leading receiver in this game.
I mean,
when your receivers combined for 6 receptions for 62 yards, that's just not good enough. Like, these guys need to step up and start, just making plays. I mean, especially N'Keal Harry. He's the first-round pick. He's the guy that, they picked over DK Metcalf. And, like, come on, man. Like, you're not showing progress right now. Granted, there was no practice, but you're still not showing progress. And it's...
And worst part about this, we still had a chance to win.
Yeah.
As bad as we played, we still had a chance to win. Granted, they got down there.
Yeah, he got to make that pass.
Yeah,
he got to make that pass, but I think he was seeing ghosts. Because they was coming at him all day. Like, they was getting to him the entire game.
I mean, they had questionable calls all game, though. Even with the 2-point conversion when they...
Yeah, I didn't...
Only 2 receivers, like, bro. Like, and then, like, you got to help the man out. At least do, like, what's a pass option?
Yeah, and then there was another player. He ran out of bounds, and he gets hit out of bounds, and they don't even throw a flag. And it's just like, bruh, isn't this league supposed to be about quarterback protection? And y'all just let this dude, he's already taking the 2 steps out of bounds and he gets hit like...
They only protect quarterbacks who can't run.
Legit. So... So there's some other notes in this game. This was the last time the Patriots were under 500 in November was 2002, and that year they didn't make the playoffs. But we know what happened the following year. They won the Super Bowl, and this is the first loss under Bill Belichick where they didn't allow a touchdown. and they
That's nothing that bothered me, bro. You let Denver kick y'all to a W.
Yeah,
like all them field goals, they just kicked it out of y'all, man. Like literally.
This was I mean, there's not much we can say about this game, but it
was hard to watch.
Yeah, very hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
Very hard to watch. But hopefully they bounce back. They got San Francisco this week, so hopefully they, with this week of practice, they make some adjustments. They just, they still got a chance at this division. I mean, the Bills aren't that much better than any of the other teams in the division, so they still got a chance. But they got to get it going.
Fix your formula, man.
Yeah.
Fix the formula.
And receivers start getting open.
Yeah.
Like, jeez Louise. Like, who's the last All-Pro wide receiver the Patriots had? Moss?
I mean, that's the easier pick, but isn't Edelman?
Yeah, but he's like slot, so
I'm just saying, Moss is the easy pick to pick.
Yeah, I'm talking about the outside.
Man, we don't know who them guys are most of the time.
We haven't,
So
it hasn't really. I mean,
the only guy that had a name, other than like Branch or somebody.
Yeah, I mean Troy Brown, he did his thing for all those years. I mean Terry Glenn when he was. Yeah. All right, let's go to the Packers. Where this was supposed to be a good game between the Packers and the Bucks, and the first quarter looked like the Packers were gonna pretty much handle this game, and then interceptions came, and then what's the quarterback's worst nightmare? The equalizer to a quarterback is a pass rush, and the Bucks were all over Aaron Rodgers.
I'll be honest, I seen 2 intos 2 possessions in a row, and I kind of checked out. Like one was a tip, wasn't his fault, but that second one was like, whoop, two intos in a row, game over. The game's over. Like it just wasn't his day.
Yeah, legit. That changed the game. Those 2 interceptions changed the game because he was never the same. And then the Bucks were just getting after him, and I don't know what happened to the Packers' offensive line because they were playing good They were playing good up until that point, but
How many times has he played against Brady?
This was their fourth time. I think this was their fourth time playing against each other.
Look like they never played each other. Wait, Rodgers out there looking.
Yeah, he looked. Yeah, he didn't look like the MVP candidate that he was playing this year. And then also look at 10 carries for 15 yards. Like, come on. It was pretty much an all Bucks game. The Bucks pretty much took control of this game, got the big lead, and they pretty much never looked back. And for their defense, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions. They pressured Aaron Rodgers on 41% of his dropbacks. On third down, the Bucks got pressure on 8 of the 15 dropbacks, and they held them to 7 of 17.
Man, they just bullied them the whole game. That's all that was. The better team just won that night.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So, and this is good for the Bucks because now it puts them in position. They're on top of their division, and if they continue this streak and it comes down to the season, because everybody wants that best record in their conference to get, because there's only one bye to get. To get that bye. So if the Bucks keep going like this, especially their defense has kind of been playing better and better and better as the season goes on. Like they're putting themselves in prime position in their division. I mean, the Saints aren't really. They beat them in week 1, but after watching them the past couple of weeks, we got the Falcons. We know the Panthers. They're just a decent team. So the Bucks could really separate themselves from their division these next couple of weeks, and they're going to Oakland this week, Vegas this weekend to play the Raiders. So hey man, kudos to them. Also some other notes: Brady and Gronk are now third all time in quarterback receiver duo with touchdowns. They're at 91. They passed Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates. Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning are number 1 with 114 touchdowns. Joe Montana and Jerry Rice are second with 92 touchdowns. Impressive. All right, the Browns. Baker benched. Ooh, not looking good.
Yeah, when I clicked onto the game,
not looking good.
When I clicked on, he was already on the bench.
Yeah, it was.
So I didn't even know what happened. I didn't know if he got injured or he's just playing bad or what.
Well, they say he's had bad ribs.
Okay.
But bad ribs didn't attribute to him being benched. It was just, he was just not great. It was like Pittsburgh was up 3-0, then he throws a pick 6, and then it was just discombobulation all over the Browns offense, and they just,
Well, I mean, I guess if you're going to play Pittsburgh and he hasn't played well from the jump, just sit him down. Just to, I want to say, refrain from really getting injured, because Pittsburgh's playing well.
Yeah.
I don't really think he really thought the Browns had a chance, but,
some people did, but they're looking at Baker Mayfield and just how he handles certain things. Like when Pittsburgh pressured him, he only completed 3 of 7 passes for 45 yards with that interception. When there was no pressure, it was 7 of 11 for 74 yards and the pick 6. So it's like.
See, I thought you were going to say he had a touchdown. He said he had a pick 6. Like I was going to say, everybody's fine in the gym shooting by themselves.
Yeah, so he doesn't handle pressure well. And then now, when receivers get mad when you're losing and they're not getting the ball. So, I mean, we got to look at Odell and Jarvis Landry. Odell, 5 catches. Odell and Jarvis in this game, 5 catches for 65 yards. And Odell, since he's been traded to Cleveland, he has only 200-yard receiving games, and those both were last year in week 2 and week 6. This year his targets: week 1 10, week 2 6, 8, 9, 4. And he has yet to have a 100-yard game this season. His highest is 81. So it's like he might start feeling his talent is going to waste, because they just
there's in Landry. I mean, he hasn't been playing that well either. No. Dropping easy passes as well. So it's like if Landry was balling and he wasn't getting as many touches, it'd be understandable. But neither one of them really playing that well. So you might as well give OBJ the ball more,
or just force it to him if you have to. But I don't think Baker's that type of player. Man, it's just now the rumbles is. Because he got an option in his contract. So after this year, the Browns going to have to make a decision if they're going to pick up his option or if they're going to move on. And if this continues, they might move on.
My whole thing is this man being all type of commercials. He got to play better than that.
Yeah, that too.
That's just, you got all these endorsements, so they're putting you in the light that a lot of quarterbacks that deserve to be there, should be there, aren't there. So you have to the numbers have to match up.
Remember, we giving this dude way more passes than
a lot.
A lot of passes, and I just remember I always go back to Cam Newton. And all the criticism he got, and he was actually winning.
For real.
So, yeah, a game of the week, Titans. Actually, we're going to go to Craig. We're going to go to Craig real quick, and then we're going to come back real quick and then talk about the Titans. But Craig, and then we'll be back.
What up, everybody, and welcome once again to No Huddle here on After the Whistle. It's your boy Craig coming to you with my DraftKings picks of the week. We're going to jump right into it, and I'm going to start off in the quarterback position. I got your boy Kyler Murray, you know what I'm saying? They're going up against Seattle, and the reason why I like Kyler Murray in this game is it's going to go one of two ways, because, you know, Kyler Murray is I feel like is going to be kind of that new age Russell Wilson, and it's either going to be a complete and utter shootout, just raining it down the field all day from both of them, or Seattle's going to get the lead and Kyler Murray's going to have to air the ball out all day to try to make the comeback or try to regain the lead, whatever the case may be. But you got DK Metcalf on one side and DeAndre Hopkins on the other side, and decent run games on both sides of the ball. It's going to be a lot of airing it out, and I think it's going to be a very exciting game, and I like Kyler Murray to come out on top points-wise. Next in the running back position, I went with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, partially because, it looks like, they're kind of pushing towards the run game a little bit, giving the boy opportunities, and he's trying to keep his job. They signed Latavius Murray. They signed Le'Veon Bell, and a lot of people are thinking, maybe Bell's going to come in and take his job. But Clyde is that rookie who's been doing really well, ran for 160 yards last week, and that shit was awesome. So I expect him to do this to Denver, and it will look great. Next on the list, I got Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt, once again, showing off the skills and trying to, steal that Nick Chubb job. And they're going up against Cincinnati with one of the worst defenses in the league. So I expect Kareem Hunt to have a hell of a game. For my first wide receiver and soonly becoming one of my favorite wide receivers, the man CeeDee Lamb, the kid is doing big things, and I'm liking what I see. Slowly but surely becoming that number one receiver. Clearly, obviously, the number two to Amari Cooper, but definitely stepping on the toes of Michael Gallup. Going up against Washington, I like this matchup a lot. Another guy who's actually climbing the ranks, started off the season slow, is Brandon Cooks. Going up against Green Bay. Green Bay has been kind of a give it up kind of team, and Houston's looking for that first W, and I really like their chances against Green Bay, and I think Cooks is going to be a big part of that. Finally, in wide receivers, I have Christian Kirk. I already said, Kyler Murray's going to need to air it out. Christian Kirk had a big week last week, and once again, I tell you, I don't really like to double down on people, but I do think Christian Kirk will have a good game against Seattle's terrible defense. In the tight end position, I'm really liking Austin Hooper. I liked Austin Hooper a lot in the beginning of the year. He's been kind of a letdown pretty much for the most part. He's been stepping it up here and there, getting you into double digits. And this is a favorable matchup. So Austin Hooper in the tight end position, lock it down. In the flex position, one of my other favorite wide receivers, DJ Chark. He is Gardner Minshew's favorite target, his best target, and I expect him to reach the end zone. They're going up against the Chargers. It's going to be a shootout for sure, and just like in any game, the losing team is always going to be airing it out, and that's definitely going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. So look for DJ Chark to have a big game. And then finally for the defense, I don't know if I'd call this a sleeper, but I don't know if people are going to necessarily pick this defense in their DraftKings, but I'm going with the New England Patriots. They had a tough game against Denver, but they did keep Denver out of the end zone and strictly making field goals. San Francisco, with an exception for George Kittle, they really don't have anybody to throw the ball to that's consistent. Deebo Samuels is back, but he's going to be covered by our guy Stephon Gilmore, so you know that shutdown. And George Kittle's going to get double coverage, leaving not a lot of options. Mostert is on injured reserve. It's not looking great for San Fran. I think New England's going to do well. So that's my DraftKings picks. Kyler Murray, Kareem Hunt, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Christian Kirk, Austin Hooper, DJ Chark, and the New England Patriots. Watch out, Antonio Brown is making a comeback. He can play Week 8, and Seattle Seahawks are the team to grab him. And until next week, I'll see you on No Huddle. Back to After the Whistle.
All right, we are back. All right, let's go to the sports update with Mia Lynn, and then we come back and talk some more.
Good afternoon and welcome to another segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates. I'm Mia Lynn, and today I'll be breaking down the latest in the sports world over the past week. To start off, the Boston College Eagles fell to the Hokies of Virginia Tech this past weekend. The final score of that game was 14-40. This game was nonetheless a tough one for the Eagles as they faced the 23rd ranked team in the nation. Despite the bad, there were still some positives worth noting. Jalen Gill, the Ohio State transfer, recorded his first career 100-yard game, as well as his first touchdown as an Eagle. Gill ended the game with 6 catches for 104 yards. Lastly, the transfer quarterback, Phil Dracovic, threw 28 for 52 for 345 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Eagles will look to make the necessary adjustments as they prepare to take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets this Saturday at 4 p.m. on their home field. The team now stands with a 3-2 overall record and a 2-2 conference record as they're just about halfway through this unusual season. In MLB news, the Tampa Bay Rays and Los Angeles Dodgers have advanced to the World Series. The series kicked off last night with a final score of 8-3 favoring the Dodgers. The Rays defeated the Houston Astros on Saturday in Game 7 to advance to their current standing, whereas the Dodgers defeated the Braves in a Game 7 as well. The final score of that game was 4-3. The Dodgers will look to capture their first title since 1988, whereas the Rays will look to capture their first ever World Series title. They were one of 6 MLB teams who have never won a World Series. Lastly, after a long wait, Week 1 of the 2020 Big Ten football season is here. In what would have been Week 8 in a regular year, the season had to be delayed due to COVID-19. It'll be kicked off by an Illinois and Wisconsin matchup on Friday at 8 p.m., followed by a game-packed Saturday with games starting from 12 to 7:30 p.m. This will mark the start of an 8-game season, the fewest scheduled games among the Power 5 conferences that are playing this fall. The Big Ten championship game is set to be played on the 19th of December, the day before the final college football playoff rankings of the 2020 season will be announced. The week of this championship game will also include matchups between the other 12 Big Ten teams that didn't finish in first in the East and West. As for this week, 2 matchups that should result in a good game are Nebraska, Ohio State, and Michigan, Minnesota. Make sure to catch your favorite teams in action starting this Friday night. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next week for another segment of New England Sports Scores and Updates.
Thank you, Mia, for that. And we are back, and the game of the week was the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry, who might just be the league MVP. The Titans are 5-0. They're playing well offensively and defensively, and Derrick Henry is just running like a madman.
Yeah. Who's the second best running back in the league? McCaffrey's injured, I know that, right?
Yeah, McCaffrey's injured. I don't know.
All right, well, yeah, he's looking like the man, and I couldn't tell you, when was the last time they had a running back doing this type of stuff? I mean, for one, the league's changed into a pass-heavy league, so you don't really see, I want to say, running backs get this type of shine anymore. And
I can tell you the last running back to put together something like this was LaDainian Tomlinson, and that was 2006.
See, my point exactly. It's 2020.
Yeah. So
14 years ago.
So 22 carries, 212 yards. Then he had 50 yards receiving. And then, so here's some fun facts about Derrick Henry, because this dude is putting together a Hall of Fame resume, because he's going to have 300 carries again this year. Last year he had 300 carries and led the league in rushing. I believe he's leading the league in rushing right now. So he's the first player to record 200 yards rushing in 200 yards rushing in a game for 3 consecutive seasons. He did it in 2018 with 238. He did it in 2019, and now this year. And also, he's got 3 career rushing touchdowns of 90 plus yards. Three of them bad boys. He's got that. I think he's so he's the fifth running back with multiple 90 plus yard rushing touchdowns, joining Amon Green, who had 2, Bo Jackson, who had 2, Chris Johnson, who had 2, and Lamar Miller, who had 2.
Amon Green?
Yeah, Amon.
Packers?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Right?
I didn't know that. Oh, man.
So, yeah, the Titans right now, I think they're looking the best team in the league right now, because you got to give it to their quarterback, too, because he's even playing well.
Think it might be a rematch?
It might be. That's what it's looking like right now.
I wouldn't mind it.
Right now in the AFC is 3 teams right now: the Chiefs, Steelers, and the Titans. Those are the 3 best teams in the AFC right now. And all three of those teams, they got offensively they're solid and defensively they're solid. So I mean, it's heading for a good race. And Ryan Tannehill, I mean, he got away from Adam Gase, that coach from the Jets, and look how he's doing now, because he had him all those years, and we all thought he sucked, and now he's been with the.
I'll be honest, he's a Michigan guy, right?
No,
where he go?
Texas A&M.
Oh, A&M. I like Tannehill though. Wasn't he at Miami when he first started?
Yeah, he was in Miami.
He did all right. He wasn't the worst, and then they traded him. So like I said, Tannehill fine. He found his team, and man, he's balling, man.
Coaching matters in the league. Coaching matters. Mm-hmm. So the Titans are 5-0 on the season. So man, it's we're like almost to the halfway point of the NFL season. Week 7 coming up, and then yeah, it's almost that time of the year where we figure out who teams are, and teams should start tanking for Trevor, which I don't think he was gonna come to any of those teams if I was him. But that's just me. All right, let's quickly some NBA news. Ty Lue, new head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers.
You said he was plotting?
Tell me I'm wrong.
I won't be surprised.
Tell me I'm wrong. This is twice now. That's just, you got to raise your eyebrows.
And he played for the Lakers, so he has some connections in that building.
Yeah.
That whole facility, so I wouldn't be surprised, man.
It's a good. I guess it's a good coaching move. He does have a championship, but the Clippers' issues is they need a point guard that can actually make plays for other people. Because they just need a point guard, because you can't have Pat Beverly out there just doing whatever he does, and they need a playmaking point guard.
I can understand. I can see that, and their styles need to come to play.
That too.
No more hitting the side of the backboard.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah.
Granted, the game was over when he did that, but still, man, you on TV, man.
Yeah. So nice move by the Clippers. So we'll see how this team does next year. But it's gonna be a lot tougher next year, because teams are gonna be better, and there's some teams that were injured are coming back and reloading, and I'm excited for next NBA season, because it's gonna be interesting to see how everything plays out. And then also Stan Van Gundy, they hired him as the Pelicans head coach. Good move. He's good with young players. So
I'm a fan of Jeff. I like Jeff.
Plus One interview. I talked to college basketball reporter C.L. Brown about the college basketball season. Plus One, and we're gonna come back and do what we do and wrap this thing up. Welcome to another edition of the Plus One interview, and today we have a special guest. He coming all the way from North Carolina to be with me, Mr. C.L. Brown. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm good. It's almost here. We're getting closer and closer to the college basketball season. Last week was the start of practices. Did you think we would get here?
Well, I'm not celebrating just yet. Still got a ways to go. But no, the short answer is, even as far back as July, when I was talking to different college coaches from different conferences and everything throughout the nation, a lot of them were pessimistic that this would actually happen. Basically, everyone was rooting for football, though, that they would be successful enough that they would be able to complete games to where it would seem feasible. So I think there's certainly a lot of positivity now, more so than it was in the summer and even going back to when they canceled the tournament last spring. but there's still a lot of caution, and there's still a lot of let's see this thing through.
And another big thing for all these teams is scheduling wise, because they had to cut down their games to about 27 games from the original 30 plus games that they play. And a lot of teams, the issues they've been having for the past couple of weeks or months is scheduling, getting the proper opponents, and there's a lot of things that they're looking into when they're trying to schedule as far as logistics and just how they're going to be able to keep teams safe. That's something that's a big factor in this as well.
Yeah, I think that the scheduling right now is still such an issue that people that's part of the reason why they're not so sure how the season is going to play out. I mean, when you look at it, them saying that 13 games will be the minimum, they're expecting that a bunch of games are going to get canceled.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, or not able to be rescheduled and that kind of thing. So, and I think at one point the ACC was even considering, and I mean, going back to discussions they had during the summer months, we're even considering not playing non-conference at all and just keeping everything in-house within the conference. Now that changed, but it just goes to show that it's fluid. I mean, the whole thinking with scheduling is a fluid situation. And it will be a little bit odd when we see tournaments like the Maui Invitational that's now going to be played in Asheville, North Carolina, in order to, just trying to make it safer and more feasible for teams to be there. So I think a lot of those kind of little bubbles, if you will, situations that will pop up throughout the non-conference schedule.
What is the protocol that the NCAA is taking as far as testing for these schools? Is it up to the NCAA, or are just individual schools have their own criteria for testing players, staff, and everybody around the programs?
Yeah, right now I think it's more or less falling on the conferences. They have individual conferences are establishing the guidelines that they want going forward. And when you look at how football did it, I mean, that even included by position groups. So if you don't have, basically a standard number is 7. If you don't have 7 healthy offensive linemen, then you can't play that game, which is a good way to make sure, you're not just sending kids out there to get pummeled and not be able to compete like they would normally compete. I wonder if something similar might be done for basketball, just in terms of number of players, probably not necessarily by position, but I would imagine they would have something similar in mind. And a lot of the conferences seem to be on the same page, not necessarily the exact same. I should say conferences by level, because, the major conferences, they can afford to do more. The major schools can afford to do more in terms of testing and everything like that. So, but even the mid-majors and the low majors will have a certain criteria in stone in order to try and make this thing as safe as possible.
And then we also have to look at, as far as fans, will fans be in the stands? Will they be will they be, limited attendance in these games? That's another aspect. Me personally, I'm watching college football and I'm seeing some of these schools, they're having their stadiums kind of look packed and full, and I don't think they should have fans in these games, me personally, just because we're still not out of it yet, and just having people in one proximity like that. And, some people don't even follow the protocols of wearing masks and all that.
Well, basketball will be different too, because it's indoors. It's one thing to say you can have, I was at Florida State this past weekend, their game with North Carolina, and they had 18,000 fans in the stand, which it doesn't seem like a lot in a stadium that seats over 80 or whatever, but it's surreal, with what we're going through in the pandemic, and to see that many people out. But for basketball, what do you do? Especially a place like Cameron Indoor Stadium, that's a small, compact gym. Like, how many fans would be acceptable in that situation? Because the way that court is configured, you figure, at least during normal times, the students, I get stuff sprayed on my laptop all the time from students yelling and things like that. Like, so what do you do? I mean, that could end up getting to players too. I mean, you would assume everybody's going to be required to wear a mask, but still, it just being in a situation like that, I don't know what the answer is going to be right now. The state of North Carolina and many states have allowed football at least to have a certain percentage amount of fans. So it's going to be interesting how that plays out with basketball.
Yeah. As far as this upcoming season, there's going to be some players, we got people transferred. Sharif O'Neal going to LSU, Mac McClung going to Texas Tech. There's a whole wave of transfers. But as far as the ACC, one team I know that's looking to kind of redeem themselves is University of North Carolina after, not having the tournament kind of maybe have people forgotten how bad of a season they had last season. But they did get some good recruits coming in. Just, what do you think the difference for this year's team is going to be as far as last year? Because last year everything just went bad for them.
Yeah, trust me, no one's forgotten. But I think the not having the NCAA tournament made it a little bit easier because there was no one who came out of last season celebrating. Everybody, the way it ended, everybody just, it was a downer for everybody in college basketball. But yeah, Carolina has one of the top recruiting classes in the nation. Caleb Love at point guard might be the name that a lot of people are familiar with. I think maybe a sleeper in the bunch is Day'Ron Sharpe, a power forward type, who his progress, when you look back to say his sophomore year in high school, he wasn't really that highly recruited. And one of the assistant coaches, Steve Robinson, I believe at North Carolina, was the one who kind of spotted him and saw his potential. And surely from that time until the end of his senior year at high school, he's just climbed up in recruiting charts and everybody's opinion of him. So I think he has a chance to make a real impact early for that team.
As for their rivals, Duke, if there was a tournament, they were considered one of the teams that had the potential of winning it all last year. They lose a few guys, Trey Jones, the leaper, I forget his name.
Cassius Stanley.
They declared for the draft, and Vernon Carey, he also declared for the draft. So losing those top guys, but as Duke always does, they bring in a new wave of players. Is this still going to be a team that will have a chance for the title?
I mean, I would expect, long as Coach K is still on the sidelines there, they'll be in the mix. I think it will be interesting to see how it plays out because point guard is so crucial, and Trey Jones was one of the best in the nation that they're losing. Doesn't matter who they have coming in because I feel like he was so in command of what happened on the floor. So those are big shoes to fill. But they do have obviously a lot of talent, and I'm excited for them about some of the returnees. It's funny, in this day and age of one and done classes, particularly at Kentucky and Duke, because they seem to have the most turnover from year to year. We don't talk a lot or enough about the guys who return, and I think Wendell Moore, he'll be a sophomore, and Matthew Hurt, I think they're in position to make some big leaps this year for Duke, and they'll be playing well. And a person who I think maybe a lot of people aren't as high on as I am for Duke, Joey Baker, who will be a junior. He's billed as a sharpshooter, coming out of high school, and maybe hadn't always lived up to that. But I think this is going to be a big year for Joey Baker too.
Mm-hmm. And as far as the ACC conference, Florida State, they had the best overall record in the regular season, going 16-4. Virginia second. Louisville, they were also another team. They had high championship hopes with all the talent that they had. Do you think we're going to see another tight race for that ACC title this year?
Oh yeah, I mean I'm excited about the possibilities in the ACC. I do think that, and speaking of point guards, I think Louisville is going to have one of the best in the conference, if not in the nation, and David Johnson. He was a freshman last year that they kind of brought along slowly, but you would see the flashes in his game. When they won at Duke, he had a huge game, and I just felt like for him to come in as a freshman in that situation, in that environment, and play the way he did, you can handle anything if you can go in Cameron to do what he did. So I also think Florida State, it seems like every year, at least especially recently, people tend to underestimate what Leonard Hamilton has in Tallahassee, and I think Florida State is going to be a contender for the ACC title this year.
And the thing with Florida State is Leonard Hamilton gets guys, his type of players that'll stay 3 or 4 years, and then you look up, you're playing a veteran team, and that's one thing about college basketball. When you get the latter part of the season, usually the veteran teams come out on top. They find ways to win as opposed to the team with the young guys. So Florida State, that's one of the reasons they've been so successful all these years. They always have a veteran team.
Yes, true. And I think I didn't expound on Virginia, but I mean, Virginia probably hit the lottery with transfers last year, or the transfer market, I should say, because the kid from Marquette that they have, Hauser, coming in, I think he's going to do big things for Virginia this year, and Tony Bennett. So, and they'll be in that top tier too, competing for the ACC title.
Yeah, one team, the Eagles, the BC Eagles, they're an intriguing team. With covering them last year, when they would play, they played to their competition. So, they had that upset win over Virginia at home. They played Louisville tough. They played Duke tough. But then when they play teams that they should beat, they played down to their competition. That was one big issue I had with Boston College last year watching. And then when it came to execution down the stretch in tight games, they panicked too much. They forced 3-pointers, or they try to go 1-on-5. And maybe this year it'll be different with some of the guys that they have that weren't playing last year, and some of the recruits that they have. But that's one thing I want to see with this team, is have they matured, especially offensively in tight games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing about the ACC. I think most years it's tough to look at the schedule and say who is an easy win, or who you're supposed to beat, because everybody has talent, even though some of the teams that finish in the bottom might not have it across the board. And I felt like with Boston College, it was more like their margin of error was very thin. Yeah. So if certain things didn't go right during the game, it was going to be difficult for them to overcome those kind of mistakes. But and I saw them live when they came down and won in Chapel Hill in a game where they were the ones who made the right plays down the stretch in Carolina. If I remember correctly, Carolina didn't get a shot off when they had a chance to win the game. Or it was a very bad shot. I remember Cole Anthony kind of pounding the ball, waiting for a pick to come that didn't come until late, and it just kind of threw off the whole offense. So we'll see. I think Jim Christian is in a tough spot at Boston College right now.
I think with all the circumstances that happened, they were on that verge of letting him go after that season, but with everything that's happened, and I think they wanted to give him another shot at it because of everything. But
it's a tough job.
Yeah, it is. So this year it's one of those make or break years for him this upcoming season. So we'll see what happens. Oh man, we're running out of time. Please let them know if they want to read your stuff, if they want to follow you, plug your social media, website, all that good stuff.
Yes, well, I'm with the Raleigh News and Observer. My Twitter account is @CLBrownHoops. Same thing for my YouTube page, which when basketball starts up, I'll be posting a lot more. That's also CL Brown Hoops, and my Instagram, CL Brown Hoops. I try to make it easy for the people. Just a name to remember.
Hey, that simple is always the best way. It's the CL Brown. And thank you, man, for coming along. The LASIK and all that, but thank you.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach back out to you at some point during the season, just to
for sure,
everything gets going. But thank you once again.
Yeah, I apologize for being late.
No, better late than never, right?
No doubt.
You guys have been watching the Plus One interview. Have a good day. And we are back. back. Yeah, thank you, CL Brown, for that. Talked some North Carolina hoops. Talked ACC basketball, college hoops. Just it's gonna be weird in college basketball because some teams they're still trying to figure out their schedule. They had to reduce their schedule to 27 games, so teams making schedule and stuff. It was just, I mean, it's
They just do conference games and call it a day, man.
yeah. I mean, shoot, the ACC, what they got like 15, 16 teams. Just play everybody twice. That's almost 30 games right there.
For real, I don't understand why they're making it so. They're making it hard it has to be. Like there really doesn't have to be that much travel. Just keep everybody in their conference. And then have everybody meet up at one little bubble area.
Yeah,
Like a
one of your
weekend
guys,
tournament.
one of your guys is going ACC freshman. Your boy Matt Cross.
Matt Cross.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, the U.
He over there. He over there at the U.
That's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, they
Quiet.
college basketball practice started last week, so
John now in the gym. I seen John now in the gym.
JB in there. They ready. They ready.
That's what's
All right, some notes I got here. The Dolphins are set to start Tua.
Yeah, I heard.
I mean, interesting timing, but you really want to start him against Aaron Donald?
For one, you really want to start him at all this year? Like he just had a crazy injury that he hasn't even been back for a full year, right?
Yeah, that too.
Like man.
I mean, they could have done like the Bengals and Chiefs approach when the Bengals drafted Carson Palmer. They sat him all season and played him the last game because they knew the next year he was going to be starting. And then the Chiefs, the same thing with Mahomes. He was on the bench started the last game of his rookie season and then took off. So.
And I think with Tua, he's so injury prone.
That too.
You just need to strengthen his body for a full year. That boy need to be Jack Diesel.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see. But yeah, he comes back and they play the Rams and Aaron Donald. Yeah. Good luck. The Big 12 is starting their football season this weekend. I mean,
nobody cares. People been playing football.
Yeah, my thing is that, I don't get it. They're gonna have an 8-game season, just conference games. But I mean, you should have. Yeah, I don't know.
Coming late to a party and everybody's already drunk. Like, why did you even show up? Like, party happened 2 hours ago.
Capitalism runs the U.S., especially in college sports, and they want to keep that money. So yeah, they start conference play this weekend, but there's already like a stay-in order at the University of Michigan because cases are breaking out and like COVID cases are. Yeah, it's terrible. UFC, Khabib got a fight this weekend. I forget the dude's name, but Khabib said He said he's going to choke this guy out, and then he's already looking ahead to who he wants to fight next. I think they said George St. Pierre. He wants to fight. He's interested in fighting next.
George St. Pierre still fighting?
I think that's... I may have the wrong name, the wrong George, but yeah, he said something like that. Because they asked him who he's interested in fighting, and he named off a couple people. They asked him if he was willing to fight McGregor again. He said, why? I've already beat him.
In his camp. Beat his coaches too.
Yeah,
so I believe Khabib, that's my guy, the bear wrestler kid. So, like, you wrestle bears as a kid, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, you're from Russia, too.
Yeah,
it's
go about your business,
it's
man.
too cold up there, so, them, they're different with that cold. Their cold's different.
Doesn't vodka mean water in Russian?
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Drink that for breakfast.
Whoa.
Pacers, they hired Raptors assistant coach whose name I can't pronounce because I don't want to pronounce it, but they hired him.
Why is that even news that you can't pronounce the name?
I don't know.
You want to make up a name for him?
So they hired him. But
Ishkabibble.
I don't know what kind of team he's going to have because Oladipo already wants to be is going to want to be traded. The other guy, Miles Turner, he wants to be traded. I mean, might as well trade Sabonis too. Bring Sabonis to Boston. We need a big.
Yes, mystery coach, do your thing.
And then also last week, the Rockets GM Daryl Morey stepped down, but we all kind of saw this coming. He was laying all his eggs and beating the Warriors for all those years and couldn't do it. And then that whole stuff, what he said about China, and he got criticism for that just because he want the human rights for China, and Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, but everybody was just like, oh, why the NBA do that? Oh, the NBA is not saying nothing about China, blah blah blah, because they don't want to lose their money. I'm just like, There ain't no difference from a lot of.
So you mean tell me you got people that get mad about the NBA talking about black people dying, but they don't. But they get mad at us for not talking about China.
Yeah.
These people are cooked, man.
Yeah, pretty much. You just summed it up perfectly right there.
Cooked.
Yeah, legit. But so, yeah, so that's that. All right. Top 10 plays, and then we gonna come back. We didn't do our game picks last week, so
Yeah, we definitely did.
we gonna come back, do our game picks, and we gonna be up out of here. And we are back. All right, game picks for the week. All right, toilet bowl game this weekend. I don't know why we have to suffer through this. Thursday is going to be a suffrage. We got the presidential debate Thursday, and then we have the Eagles and the Giants.
It's like diarrhea on TV. I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm going with the Giants, man.
Yo,
I can't pick the Eagles.
yo. You see, I'm conflicted because I said I'll never pick a New York team, and then I said I won't pick the Eagles again this season, but I have to pick the Eagles because the Giants are just worse.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Wentz is gonna do something to hurt himself.
Once it's gonna do something, then we know this guy's gonna throw interceptions, or a turnover. All right, Lions, Falcons, another toilet bowl
Lions.
game. I'll go. No, I'm not. From my better judgment, I will go with the Falcons.
Ooh, you're bold.
I know. Browns, Bengals rematch. This is in Cincinnati.
Going with the Bengals, man.
Same. I'm going with Burrow. All right, game of the week. 2 undefeated teams, Steelers, Titans, and they're playing this at a 1 p.m. game. This should be a primetime game.
Giving it to the Titans, man.
Going to the Titans.
Yeah.
I'll give it to the Steel Curtains, the Steelers. I'll give it to Steelers. Panthers, Saints.
Panthers.
Going Panthers.
Yeah.
I picked the Saints defense in my fantasy football league, so I'm going to go with the Saints.
I don't blame you.
Bills, Jets.
Bills.
Same Bills.
Jeez.
The team from Washington and the Cowboys. Another one.
Oh. You know what? I'm going to give the Red Rocket one more chance. I'm going to give him a chance, man. I'm going with the boys, the Cowboys.
I'll go with the team from Washington. Both of these teams are trash.
Yeah.
Packers, Texans.
Oh, Packers. Man.
Packers. Seahawks, Cardinals. Seahawks 5-0.
Yeah, I'm going Seahawks.
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. Chiefs, Broncos.
Oh, yeah, Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going with the
score.
Chiefs. Yeah, Broncos, their quarterback is sus. 49ers at New England.
Oh, the Pats all day.
Pats bounce back. Jaguars at Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Jags,
You going with the
man.
Jags? I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm going to go with Justin Herbert. The Bucks and the Raiders.
Oh, yeah, the Raiders.
You going with the Raiders?
Yep.
Once again, I will go with the Bucks, even though my head is telling me with the Raiders. I'll go with the Bucks. And then Monday Night Football, we got the Bears and the Rams.
I'm going to go with the Rams.
You gonna go with the Rams?
Yeah.
I will go with the Bears, just cause. And with that, folks, we got the Suns beaming. Follow him
Can you even see me?
Mr. Burton.
I'm looking like powder out
All
here.
right, Mr. Burton, 23. Mukala K, LCTV after the whistle. We out. Have a good
Right
day.
for the sun to be on me, man.
Have a good day.